Joe Burrow's on a team that a year ago won 4 games. They just beat Kansas City, who was hosting the AFC Championship game for the 4th consecutive season. They were in the last 2 Super Bowls and won 1 of them. They have a quarterback that is going to the Hall of Fame. They have a coach who's going to the Hall of Fame. And Joe Burrow, with a straight face, just said, well, we beat the 2nd best team twice. That is some chutzpah.
Mattress Mac put $4.5 million in Joe Burrow and company to notch the upset.
You got to love Joe Burrow, man. One, he already gets the seal of approval from everybody from Detroit, man, because we wear the yays, right?
He's still mobile. He still extends plays. He has this ability to break down defenses, and it feels like in the moment is the moment. He knows it, and he seizes it. He makes big-time plays. That entire team rallies around him. What a baller that guy is. I cannot wait to see what he becomes.
It starts and finishes with Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
I've been telling you for 3 weeks, he's the closest thing left to Tom Brady. He is Brady-esque. I'm not saying he'll ever be Tom Brady, but he operates his offense the way Brady always operated his. He can speed read it, find the most open receiver, and deliver a very catchable and accurate pass the way nobody else can consistently. His physical and mental toughness is up there with Brady's, and it's hard to gauge it because it's hard to see and feel that this quarterback's taken this much punishment. But obviously he went down 9 times.
Yeah, and still found a way to win the ball game and make the most crucial throw of the game to hit Jamar Chase.
I love quarterbacks that bring all the smoke. You ask any player would tell you they would love playing with guys, especially a quarterback who has this amount of petty to him. Those type of guys really breathe life into your whole team. And that's what it's really been about as far as Joe Burrow is concerned. The amazing turnaround with the Cincinnati Bengals, it starts with him, the confidence that he exudes. You see it in the interviews. You see it in the swag and the things that he wears. I love it, man. If I can come back, that's the guy I would come back and play for.
Joe Burrow is in the Super Bowl, man, and it's just 2 years and 2 weeks after winning the national championship and completing the greatest quarterbacking season maybe in the history of college football.
Ohio guy, Joey Burrow being just this unflappable, moxie-having gunslinger who I think maybe has had to hear everybody talk about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen being the next Peyton and Tom Brady in the AFC. And although I'm not 100% sure he'll ever come out and say that, there's probably him and a lot of people around him saying, hey, this motherfucker's different. Joey Burrow seems to be an absolute stud. He doesn't blink. The plays he makes when he has to make them, unbelievable. And that entire squad, the defense in the second half, Money Mac making kicks as if pressure doesn't exist in that world. He's 4 for 4 in the last 3 games, trying to get Adam Vinatieri's record. He has 40 points going into the Super Bowl, which is obviously the most ever entering a Super Bowl. He could potentially break a lot of records that Adam Vinatieri holds in his first year as a kicker in the NFL. But this Bengals team doesn't appear to be going anywhere, AJ.
He's in the Super Bowl in his 2nd season. Matthew Stafford took 13 seasons to get to the Super Bowl. And you can say, oh, he was in Detroit. Burrow's in Cincinnati. It's not like there's some incredible history of winning there, right? Look, this is the perfect young man for the right place and the right time. This is what the Cincinnati Bengals needed. He is a transformative presence. And D. Wood is right. Like, the players in that locker room love this. They love this guy. They love playing for him. They love that he has changed the entire mindset of the fan base, of the city, of the roster, of the front office. They feel like they belong. They're probably pretty sure they're going to win the game, no matter what anybody else thinks. And given the impact he's had in a short period of time and the extent to which he has delivered on his promise and on whatever, fun boasts he's having a good time making, if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I am not trading this guy for anyone in the world. He's exactly the right person for this franchise at this time.
When you talk about confidence, Joe Burrow has to be ultimately confident. When you think about what he's been in playoff matchups in his life, right? We can go back to college. You have an opportunity, you're playing against Georgia in the SEC championship, and you win. You get an opportunity to play against Oklahoma, you blow those guys out, and then obviously you win the national championship against Clemson. The same thing in these playoffs. This dude has the ultimate cool.
If he finishes this deal, this will be one of the greatest swags that ever happened in sports.
And the way he dresses the games,
oh man,
he knows it.
Yeah, top tier.
He knows it. And I got too much money for these diamonds to be fake, he said, in a very professional manner. I don't think he wanted to say, don't you ever ask that question to me again. But his style, his swag, his moxie, his intelligence, his grit, and his talent are just something that we are incredibly lucky that we are about to witness this in the NFL, I think. And I apologize to Joey Burr, Joey Shiesty, Joe B. I apologize to the moxie god of Cincinnati that literally I fed into the conversation too, that the future of the AFC is running through two places. I think this dude won't let it.
He has an ability to never flinch when he's faced with adversity, and I think that's because of the way he is. I think that's because of the things that he's been through, because of his experiences. And now, if you're Joe Burrow and you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you're right, Stephen A. You're playing with house money. But it's not just the house money that you're playing with. It's the fact that you feel like you can make that money work for you. Joe Burrow has come up huge and come up clutch in every chance that he's had to on the national stage. And I think he feels that he is meant for these moments.
I'm not at all surprised that he has led the Bengals to a Super Bowl. I'm a little surprised it's happened this fast and without much of an offensive line, but his intangibles are off the charts. He is as close to a coach on the field and a player that any college football program would have ever had.
So Matthew Stafford is dealing with the pressure of coming from Detroit, being traded for, having to be an upgrade over Jared Goff. The Cincinnati Bengals haven't won in decades. The Cincinnati Bengals haven't been to the Super Bowl since the 80s. Joe Burrow was drafted #1 overall. Joe Burrow is from Ohio. That was pressure. And in the face of that pressure, he has not missed a beat. He's been a leader even during 2020 when he had to step up and make sure he stood in front of the team and say he stood against social injustice. He's shown us at every opportunity that he is mature beyond his years. And I think he'll show that to us again on the field next Sunday.
I don't know how much bigger a moment can be than what Joey and them have already experienced. Like, I don't know how more nervous you can get because it's a Super Bowl. I don't think they're going. I think that team is going to be very comfortable going into SoFi, as they should be, by the way.
Playing quarterback to me is mostly about intangibles. It helps to have a big arm, obviously, but it helps a lot more to have an accurate arm that's above average and off the charts intangibles: mental, physical toughness under fire, poise under fire. Pocket feet are more important than downfield speed in the end. Not that to discount Lamar or whoever, because that can work too.
Yeah.
But this really works. This team believes in him as its leader. He's got way more outward swagger than Brady ever had. Brady had inside the locker room swagger that he did not demonstrate.
Right.
He did not show the world.
He was a different player behind closed doors as he was to the public.
Joe Burrow was one. I was like, I'm definitely banking on him changing the Bengals just because what I knew and what I had seen and heard about him. And I think for the people who maybe are wondering, like you look at the stories, you're like, okay, I get it. He's different. And it's not to say he doesn't have a lot of physical tools because he's accurate. He's a good athlete, but just the competitiveness and everything else and the belief he inspires. He won over a program of elite athletes who were like, they didn't know anything about him.
I remember talking to Burrow before the season, and one of the questions we asked him was about best college rivalries. And he said, oh, yeah, the Alabama game last year at LSU, that was pretty good because we knew we were going to win that game. And I said, was there any game that year you didn't know you were going to win? He said, nope. And it was as simple as that. Like that. So he did this 2 years ago.
You see that Jet game coming.
He hasn't lost. Yeah, he lost, but he hasn't lost. He hasn't lost a game he needed to win in that season at LSU and this season here. He hasn't lost a game he needed to win.
If you are around him, you're like, I don't doubt him, and I'm not at all surprised. This won't be a fluke. The Bengals are going to be a problem for the NFL for a long time, as long as he's there.
That's it for this video. I post a new Tom Brady video every day, so please like and subscribe. That way you'll always have a new Tom Brady video to watch every single day.